Hi everyone, it's R. James and welcome to my very first tutorial on how to make Fakemon trainers using the infamous Sugimori style. As young artists out there who are big fan of Pokemon just like myself, we tend to always imagine ourselves coming up with our own Fakemon region. Now if you don't know what Fakemon is, it's actually a portmanteau or combination of words using fake and Pokemon, which is basically mixing those two together and coming up with your own Fakemon. A lot of artists out there already mastered the Sugimori style when coming up with their Fakemon creatures, but most of them still struggle when it comes to Fakemon trainers. On Instagram, I'm actually known as the artist that produced the most number of Fakemon trainers dating back to when I actually started my Fakemon career back in 2015. I've been collaborated with many different artists out there who started their own region, and I myself actually have my own region. Some examples are the Ottawa region that is based on Canada, the Ilpino region which is based on my home country, the Philippines, and the third one is actually the Carius region, which is, fun fact, is actually the very first Fakemon region that used Instagram as a platform, because back in the day, most Fakemon trainers, they just use DeviantArt and Reddit to showcase their Fakemon. But the Carius region, we actually started it here on Instagram. And many other artists use Instagram as a platform as well. With that being said, here are my advices, tips, and guidelines on how to improve your Fakemon trainers. Note though that this video may be very long because there will be a lot of tips and advices. So this might turn into a series and I hope you guys would stay tuned. Part 1. Conceptualizing and Characterization. When coming up with a trainer design, we must first establish the background of the character. As shown in the official Pokemon artworks, there are no restrictions when choosing what your trainer would be. We have athletes, models, musicians, blue and white collared workers, indigenous or native people, and more. You must also take into consideration the region you are basing it off. Take my Alpino region as an example. It's a country located in Southeast Asia that is based on the Philippines, making majority of my characters a bit dark-skinned and culturally clothed. A good way to conceptualize is to gather reference images you can find on Google. For instance, my character Elite for Hanan is based off the Igorots that are native in the mountainous regions of the Philippines. Another example is my gym leader Zina, that is mostly based off a beauty queen. Since Philippines is a country that takes beauty pageants seriously, I incorporated this idea into an actual character of a trainer. Part 2. Anatomy. Sugimori style's anatomy is actually a mix of realistic body proportions and chibi style proportions. Pokemon trainer designs change from one style to another all throughout different generations. Take a closer look on how a trainer's proportion changed from generations 1 to 3 to 5. In Generation 1, the anatomy of Red has a height of 4 head bases. Generation 3's Roxanne has a height of 5 head bases. And Generation 5's Alessa has a height of 6.5 head bases, which is actually the closest when it comes to real-life anatomy that varies from 7 to 8 head bases. Depending on your artistic taste, you can choose between these 3 anatomy references. Majority of artists nowadays tend to use the 6 head bases proportion for their trainers, and that's also my choice when designing my own trainers. Part 3. Sketching and Line Art. Now that you've established a strong concept for your Fakemon characters, it's time for us to actually start drawing. For default Sugimori style resolution, your canvas size should be 1280 in height resolution, and the width resolution varies depending on your trainer's design if a part of their body or clothing stretches horizontally. This is just a simple sketch I'm doing to show you guys how I do the 6 head basis height proportioning. And here's a sketch of Elite for Karen when I was designing her remake. When doing the line art, I suggest using the 0.3 and 0.3.5 pen size in the line work layer. Since I have a graphic tablet, I just use the pen tool to do my line art. However, if you don't have a graphic tablet, don't worry, a mouse can save the day. When I started doing digital art, I actually use a mouse first to produce my artworks. Here's what you need to do. Make a line work layer and click the Curve tool. Just follow your sketch by clicking and making a line. You'll notice that in every click, a green dot appears. This will be very important later on to make your lines as if they were drawn with a pen. Press enter when you want to end or cut a line. The next step you need to do is to choose the pressure tool. Choosing this will activate all the green dots you created and pressure will be applied. Dragging your mouse to the left makes your line thinner, while dragging it to the right makes it thicker. With this technique, you can draw lines that look like it was drawn with a pen. In doing your line art, you should always focus on the pressure of your pen. Sugimori's line is not clean in terms of when you zoom them in. No. The line arts are actually very jagged and a combination of thick and thin lines.